Number 4, consider dropping deadlifts and squats from your routine. Okay, again, this is going to go against the intuitive wisdom of such scientific sites as bodybuilding.com, where you're a pussy if you don't use free weights and if you don't deadlift and squat. Well, I'll tell you something. You don't see a whole lot of 50-year-old guys deadlifting and squatting. That's because they are dangerous exercises, and they are exercises that take a toll on your body. Now, with that said, deads and squats are some of the best mass builders available, if not the best mass builders. I built a lot of my mass in my early 20s on squatting and deadlifts, and they're terrific exercises if you're young, if you have flawless form, and if you have no injuries or no infection that give you some type of inflammation. I have a leaky gut, which means that my joints are inflamed, so I have to use collagen types 1 and 3 as well as hyaluronic acid to keep my joints loose. And for example, if I'm going to deadlift, my back is going to be stiff, much more stiffer than usual for the next 3 days after that deadlift. And having light scoliosis in my upper spine means that I cannot do barbell squats, period. Okay, if I'm going to lift to fatigue with a proper amount of weight on my back, it is no longer an option for me because I feel the tingling in my hands. It is not the right move for a guy like me. And even if you're young and healthy, you gotta think that your body's gotta last to your 40s and 50s. Okay, you gotta act as if. And as a guy at 33, it's just not happening for me on those 2 lifts for 2 reasons. One, the chance of injury. Okay, and I don't care if you do it with flawless form, there's still a much larger chance of injury on those 2 exercises. And number 2, the stiffness that comes with it. The stiffness that comes with deadlifts for me, as well as the stiffness that comes with squats. And for me, with squats, is totally out of the picture strictly because of the scoliosis. That applies specifically to me. It might not apply to you. But to me, even if you're a healthy guy, putting that giant barbell on your upper back is just not a safe thing to do. I don't care how healthy you are. There are much safer options. So here are the options that I would recommend. Okay, for deadlifts, the trap bar deadlift is a great one. Okay, that's where you step inside the bar, specifically built for that, and the handles are at the side. When you're doing that, that's going to take a ton of the weight off your lower back and put more of the weight towards your mid and upper back. And I feel if I was going to deadlift, I would do that over standard deadlifts. I feel much, much safer doing that trap bar deadlift because when you're actually pushing to fatigue on that final rep, I feel way too much stress and strain in my lower back, and I was always worried, is this going to pop a disc or is this going to do something? And it just doesn't feel safe. Okay, and if you're looking in my minimalist training routine, you're looking at the quick video that I did where I demoed the 4 compound lifts. Yes, I did demo a deadlift, but that was because they didn't have the trap bar deadlift at the particular gym that I was demoing. So I would recommend the trap bar deadlift as a much safer alternative. If you want to remove the deadlifts altogether like I have because of the stiffness that comes with my back, I do strictly nothing but pull downs and seated rows. And actually my back blew up, my back thickness blew up once I started doing only those things. Specifically, seated rows have worked very well for my back thickness, and I haven't lost any mass after stopping deadlifts. In fact, I've still been gaining up until now where I'm close to my genetic potential minus going on a pro hormone cycle, which I do. Squats, the best thing to do is the Hammer Strength V-Squat machine, which is what I use now. Basically, the Hammer Strength V-Squat, if you don't know, you can check out my article on revolutionarylifestyledesign.com to see what that looks like. It puts the 2 nice big padded things on your shoulders, and then you've got the weight plates on the side. So basically you've got two nice soft pads on your shoulders, and then you're pushing off at an angle which reduces a lot of the strain on your knees. This is what I use now, and it barely puts any stiffness on my spine, and I can do 400 pounds on there and I will not notice that much more stiffness with my spine. The other option is leg press. I've grown a ton on leg press, and leg press is a terrific exercise. And just make sure that you are, if you're doing the type of leg press where the weight plates are on top of you, just make sure that you set the limiter at the step just below where it's coming all the way back. What I'm trying to say, and explaining this very badly, is you do not want to be in a position with the leg press where it gets stuck. Because if you're pushing to fatigue, that means that you are not going to be able to get to even midway through your final rep. It's going to be stuck on top of you, and you don't want that to be, 400 pounds of leg press stuck on top of you. You want to be just one limiter above where that would be, if that makes any sense. But those are the substitutions that I would suggest. Don't worry, guys. You're going to grow just fine on those. Okay, if you can leg press 500, 600 pounds, you're going to be okay. With that said, another thing to mention about the legs is I've actually stopped myself from growing on leg press and squats. I'm not trying to get any higher than where I am now, because literally I don't like the look. I don't like having an ass that's too big, and thighs that's too big is not a particularly good look on a guy, and it makes it that much harder to find pants that fit. And having ultra muscular legs is not a particularly aesthetic look in my book. Okay, number 5, avoid exercises where you need a spotter. Okay, this is huge, because if you go to the gym at the same time every week, like I do, you're on a schedule, you're on a routine, that means that you have to rely on someone to be there at the same time as you. And people are unreliable, okay? I'm going to have a hard time finding training partners who are going to be there at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock every single week when I want them to be. And, I just don't like having to rely on anyone. In fact, at the gym, I like to be completely in my own zone. Exercises where you would need a spotter are pretty much almost any type of barbell compound movement. For example, the barbell bench press. As I said, you're lifting to fatigue. That means that the bar is going to be on your chest, or just maybe an inch above your chest when you're actually at true fatigue. Okay, you're probably not even going to get halfway up into the middle of the rep, because you killed yourself getting to full extension on the rep before, and now you're just pushing it. You're holding for 5 seconds at your absolute max, and you can't move the weight anymore, and then the weight starts to slowly fall back against you. When you're on a machine, no problem. The weight just goes back, racks itself. When you're doing 250 pound, 350 pound bench press, that barbell is going to be sitting on your chest. And I see guys barbell bench press all the time without a spotter, and that is crazy to me. It's either crazy if they're going hard, or the majority of the time they're not pushing to fatigue, so they easily rack the weight, and then they don't grow. Because if you're not breaking personal records, you're not growing, okay? At least until you get into the insane advanced bodybuilder stage where they're doing insulin and all kinds of other crazy shit. For now, all you need to worry about is getting stronger, and getting stronger means you need to push through where your plateaus are, and you're not able to do that on a barbell bench press without a spotter, or you're going to have the weight on top of your chest, and that's not a good place to be. So avoid exercises where you need a spotter. If you don't trust me on the machines and you're worried about losing your gains, just switch from a barbell bench press to dumbbell bench press. And dumbbell bench press, you can go all out. Okay, you can go all out 100% to fatigue, and it's not going to come crashing down on your chest. Yes, you risk a bit more damage of your shoulders and your elbow joints, which is why I recommend the machines. But the point is, you're not going to seriously injure yourself by the weight coming down on your chest if you switch to dumbbells. So in summary, switch to machines or switch to dumbbells. Number 6, skip workouts when you're pre-injured. Okay, the pre-injury I talked about from racking weights improperly and turning my neck too quick is one way that I've noticed I get pre-injured. Another pre-injury comes if I sleep on my stomach and I've got my neck turned to the side. Again, I have a bit of a problem with my upper neck and spine. Okay, and once a quarter I sleep wrong on my neck and I feel it's a bit kinked. I know that I need to not go to the gym for the next about 3 to 4 days, okay, because I'm pre-injured. And if I were to go to the gym and do my standard neck raises and shrugs to work on my trap and neck, I would 100% be injured, okay? And that would be 2 to 3 months of recovery. Maybe it would be even a lifetime nagging injury. I still have a lifetime nagging shoulder injury that I got from bench pressing too hard when I was 21 years old and with incorrect form and too many sets, okay? Because I did not have a safe routine back then. So now when I'm pre-injured, I know I got to take 3 or 4 days off and recover. Do not think that you got to go no matter what and you're pussy if you don't go. Okay, if you're feeling good pain, you push through that pain, but you got to understand what's good pain and bad pain. If my neck is kinked, that's bad pain. That means I got to take time off because there's no point in pushing through that routine only to have, you go hard, you be a man, you push yourself, you say don't be a pussy. Then you get injured and you're out of the gym for 3 months and, you lose your gains. Okay, that doesn't make sense.